Barbie. So today we have a very, very special guest, the one, the only, Dekel, Bowflex Barbie. So she is going to be with us today, and we're going to be talking a lot about creativity in her field, which is the fitness field. So I want you to go ahead and give us an introduction for those who don't know you.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for inviting me. I know we were talking a little bit off camera, and I was like, I don't know if I fit the criteria for what you want to do, but you saw the value, so I'm here. And thank you for inviting me. But my name is Dekel Quant, also known as Bowflex Barbie. I have been on my personal fitness journey for the last almost 17 plus years. I've been working in the fitness space full time since 2017 and kind of started dabbling in it in 2012, so it's been a while. And yeah, I credit fitness to saving my life. It got me through the hardest time in my life, which was losing my mom to breast cancer when I was 14. And I've literally been on my journey and been working with others since that point. And my mission in fitness really is to help people look and feel their best, but also help women especially unlock exactly how meaningful and powerful fitness can be in their lives, just as it was in mine. And it may not be the same exact, tool for them as it was for me, but I think that's the beauty of fitness. Everyone's journey is a bit different. Everyone's reason, everyone's why is different. So I love helping women especially kind of figure that out. And so through that, I do online training, I do in-person training, I do merchandise. And then my newest venture is the women's athletic line with my best friend, Gym Skirt. It's me in as quick of a nutshell as I could put it.
So you see all of those things that you listed off, right?
Yeah.
You are very involved in a lot of things. You touch the lives of a lot of women everywhere. Like you said, either through your personal one-on-one training, your online training, you have your merchandise, you have Gym Skirt, and then you also have events that you do.
Events, YouTube.
YouTube. All of that, and you don't consider yourself to be a creative? Mom.
I think I'm a creator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good, give me the concept. Once I have a vision of the concept, I feel like I'm more of a strategist than a creative by what we usually define a creative as. Mm-hmm. But I do think I use creativity in what it is that I do, but I don't think it's my strongest suit. I think I'm really good at, I have the concept and I can flesh it out and take it from idea to final product.
So speaking of using creativity in what you do, can you give me some examples of, okay, this is a way that I use creativity? It can be in your day-to-day life. It can be when dealing with a client, when planning an event, even when thinking of the different campaigns for Gym Skirt, whatever it is. Give me an example.
Ooh, I will be honest. It takes me, I have to be really in that zone to come up with a super creative idea. Usually it'll end up being brainstorm sessions for Gym Skirt with me and my friend. She's definitely more of the creative and true Gemini fashion. She is she comes up, if you know our last campaign with the tennis balls, with the girls at brunch, that was all her. And she presented that idea to me and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. On paper, just text, no visual reference. And I was just like, how did you think of this? What? Me, I would have just been throw a tennis ball in there, twirl around, go to the tennis court. I would have been more into what you would generally think of for a tennis campaign. Mm-hmm. So but once she started explaining it, I could run with that concept. I could build on that. Right. So I'm more of a you come, I get a small idea or you plant the seeds and I can help you flesh it out and make it flourish. So
that's good.
A little bit of that. And then in fitness, with coming up with different products and different campaigns for my merchandise, for my programs, I have to use a little bit of creativity there, or I try to, with the names of programs or how I'm going to market them. I think.
That's good. And I love the campaign. I loved the campaign and I loved the colors. When I saw those colors, I was like,
she's the style. I'm you pick the styles, that's your genre, pick the concept, and I will help you bring it to life. Tell me what you need. So, she planned out the campaign. I went to Walmart and bought the tennis balls, right? Teamwork.
That's awesome. I think collaboration is also a really big part of creativity, a really
Yeah.
big part of getting projects done successfully. So I know that you have quite a few different collaborations or quite a few different partnerships. How important do you think is partnerships or collaboration in trying to further your brand?
Oh, collaboration is super important. I think when it's done right.
Right.
Because you have some people that tend to want to collaborate with things that don't necessarily align with them. And I've had to turn down collaborations over the years with brands or people that I just didn't feel fit my, like what I want to be associated with or what I want to be known for. Or
Right.
didn't align with my lifestyle or like what I actually genuinely believe. So I think collaborations, when they're done right and done for the right reasons, are a great way to build exposure, expose yourself to that person or that brand's audience. And yeah, I think they just make sense. Like when they make sense, they make sense. And when they're done right.
And I agree with you. And one of the things that I saw where I was like, this makes so much sense, is when Jim Skirt provided the active wear for Genesis. I was like, this makes sense. They're rushing, they look cute, they have on their gym skirt with their pants, with their pockets. I was like, this makes sense because Junkanoo has been going on for however many years. And as far as I know, I've never seen anything like it.
I will say it was Cheeky, who was the coordinator for the costumes for the choreographed dancers for their section. It was really her that reached out and was like initiated it. I wouldn't have thought like, yeah, like let's go approach. But now I'm like, okay, well this makes sense. And it was so different. Like the theme for it was sun-kissed, right? They didn't want to go with the traditional like independence colors, so we gave them those options. Like, do y'all want to do like black, blue, like gold, a yellow? They were like, no, we want orange. When they picked orange, I was like, okay, orange for independence. But then they explained the concept was like, it's going to represent like sun-kissed in the islands of the Bahamas. It's going to be different. We were already out here different being in skirts because everyone else is going to probably be in like either t-shirts or some sort of costume, some sort of independence theme thing. But yeah, so that was really cheeky, like seeing that, and it was like, I want to support. We try to support Bahamians for independence apparel too. So
no, that's fantastic because when I saw it, I was like,
and we made sure we delivered. I had to actually go over to Miami the weekend, the Thursday before, to pick them up, bring them back, and then they actually had to get their logo. So they handled the logo printing on the tanks. So they had to do all of that in like 3 days.
Oh, wow. Well, they looked great.
They did.
And I just thought that was just phenomenal. So another thing I wanted to ask you is, what is creativity to you? If you could define creativity, what would you say?
If I could define creativity, when I think creativity, I think pushing the envelope. I think setting the trends instead of following them. I think when something has been built from creativity, when people consume it, they're like impressed or like blown away, or it makes them stop and think, or people look at it like, I want to do that. Like, how can I do something like that in my brand or with my business? So when I think creativity, I think it pulls a lot of attention. It kind of sets the trends, and it's not something you've seen either before or seen a lot of.
Yeah. No, that's good. Because I think in our culture, we have very few trendsetters, I would say. I think a lot of it's very natural to just be like, oh, this looks cool, let me do it too. Oh, this looks nice, let me do it too. So even when I was coming up with the concept for the creative exchange, I was like, I can't see, or I haven't seen at least, conversations with different creatives in different fields. I haven't seen it. So I was like, you know what? I think that would be really cool because there's a lot that I can learn. There's a lot that we can share. And there's a lot that we can now encourage and inspire other people based off of the conversations that we have. So so thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Because I'm just excited. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about how you use creativity with like a lot of your clients. So let's say someone comes to you and they're like, okay, I want to lose weight. Because I think a very important part of being creative is really having the background information, because you need information to be able to come up with concepts, come up with ideas, to do those kind of things. So when someone comes to you and like, hey, I want to lose weight, how do I start? How do you guide them?
I mean, the way that I guide them, I don't know if I'd consider creative, but so like you said, gathering information is a big thing for me. So instead of like just, okay, hey, yeah, let's jump in the gym, I need you to fill out some questionnaires. I need us to hop on a call. I need us to have those conversations so I can gather that information that I need to create the best plan and the best way forward. I need to know, do you have any things that may inhibit us from doing certain movements? Do you have any medical stuff? Because sometimes, and this is from learning, right? In the past, I would have worked with clients before gathering all the information that I needed. And then in the workout, you realize, all right, you got an injury that we can't do certain movements with. And I'm like, okay, this would have been good to know before we actually started. But I still adjust, right? But so from the years of gathering the information that I realized was missing from my original like intake process, I built out a more thorough, more extensive intake process. And then, and even then with that information, everyone's body is a bit different. Everyone's, mechanics and mobility and stuff are a bit different. So realizing that no two clients are going to have the same exact capabilities, that requires some like impromptu changes and just flexibility with whatever programming I create too. But from there, I feel like I have a pretty structured process. So I say I don't think it's like super creative, but you do have to come up with some creativity. I think in the group fitness sense, when you're working with a group that you probably never met, like if I'm hosting a class for a company or just a group or organization, it's about 50 people that probably have never trained with me. Some of them it's their first time training. Sometimes it's their first time training in a while. So being able to like watch everybody a bit and like provide modifications where I need to, make corrections and adjustments where I need to, that requires me to be kind of like thinking on the spot, getting a little creative with how I still get the goal accomplished for everyone without making anyone feel left out or feeling like they, they're less than if they can't do a full out version. So sometimes that's a bit, I got to be a little creative on the spot with that.
Yeah. Because for a lot of people who aren't in the fitness space, it can be very intimidating. Yeah. Like you said, if it's their first time or if it's their first time in a long time, it can be kind of scary. Like, whoa, I don't, So I'm glad that you, like you said, you get creative, you think on your feet, and you're like, okay, let's make sure everyone's included. I think that's fantastic. So I do know that you are pretty much surrounded by creatives. I know your husband is a creative, your best friend is a creative. I mean, I would say that you're surrounded by creatives. Do you think so?
My husband kind of shares my sentiment. He doesn't consider himself a creative.
Really?
His team is a team of creatives.
Yeah.
And he is the business brain behind them. My best friend definitely is a creative. I definitely consider her creative. And I think from extension, I have my husband's team that I work with to help me with like creative execution on some of the projects that we do. But I don't know. He doesn't identify as a creative.
But
just like me. But I think we don't consider ourselves to be like super creative people, but we're really good at executing on the ideas. And we can develop on the small
like on the
bits,
concepts
on the seeds of the ideas that we're given. Yeah.
That's good. But I will say though that Lifestyles, I think they do phenomenal work. I've had the pleasure of being a part of the set was that the first gym skirt?
That was our first external, like with models outside of me and Gabby.
Right, but the first one, and we had a great time. We had a dandy.
And you did too, yeah.
I did do too, that's right.
You did too.
But with the first one, because I remember going into it, I was kind of nervous because I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to be here. But I was like, you know what? Let's just go open-minded. And we had so much fun.
That was a long day, but it was fun.
It was a long day, but it was fun. Like the vibes were there. Everyone was so friendly. And I just felt so like honored to be a part of this beautiful brand. Because from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to be nice. And when I saw y'all came up with like the soft launch, I was like, okay, don't forget the curvy girlies. We are out here, we need stuff too. And then when I saw that you all had like sizes for us and even included some of us in the shoot, I thought that was phenomenal. So, representation matters.
It does.
That's really, really important. So do you have anything else that you are about to launch, working on that you can share? Or is there anything that you've recently launched that you'd want to share about?
So the next big thing, next big launch is my new app. This app has been kicking my tail since the start of 2024.
Oh no.
But we're very, very close. I just spoke with my developers today, and we're like, I would say 90% there.
Oh, nice.
So once we are at a place where I feel like it's 98, I'm going to release it to a small group to like test for a few weeks and then get some feedback. Even at the launch, it's probably not going to be, honestly, like my 100%.
Yeah.
But the idea is that we're going to keep updating it and improving it even once it launches. So, but there's a certain standard I want it at for like launch. That's the next big thing. I'm hoping it is ready to go by my birthday, which is August 30th.
Oh, nice.
So that's the next big thing, the Flex Squad app. It'll be a good transition from what I've been doing the last couple of years with using a preset app and just kind of customizing it and adding my own videos in. But this is actually going to be like when you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you'll see Flex Squad app, Dekel Quant, you know.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Actually, if you go now, you can see it. But if you download it, you can get into it because you have to like subscribe. But
yeah. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier with being creative, as in being like trendsetters. Because once again, I don't know any Bahamians in the fitness space that are like, oh, I want to have an app, or I want to, so, I think you should, give yourself more credit. Like, yes, you mean, these are a little pat on the back, because you're doing the thing, you're doing the things. And I think that you have a lot to be proud of. I would definitely say that you are an inspiration to many people. Some of us who may not be, as fit, but we still maintain trying to make healthier choices. But, I see what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing because, like you said, you're making changes in the lives of women everywhere.
Thanks.
So I think that's phenomenal. And I know that you also do different, like, speaking engagements to different, corporations to help them and their team to make better choices with how they either move or eat or, nutrition, stuff like that. So what is it that got you into doing those conversations?
With like companies and groups. So honestly, the initiative to get in front of more corporate, more organizations was because my target audience for my app is busy women. I think when I think of busy women who want structure and the flexibility that the app will provide, I think where are they spending their time? They're at work. And the reason why they can't, maybe commit to getting a personal trainer in the gym or commit to a regular schedule of going to classes is because of that. Maybe hectic work and work-life balance, family, kids. So they want something that allows them to still have that structure and programming, whether they're at the gym, at home, because the app is going to have all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
And they're able to track their nutrition, and they're still able to talk to me as their coach and check in.
All of this through the app?
All through the app.
Oh, wow.
And there's still a sense of community in there as well. We have a community board, live sessions, stuff like that. So when I thought about that, I was like, this is my target demographic. How do I get to them beyond social media? Like, can I get in a room with them and talk to them? And so that's really what the presentations were, and then just getting myself out there a bit more too, more visibility in the community, and then content too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything is content.
Everything is content.
So I'm like, if I could talk for 40 minutes, I got at least a couple clips out of that that I could now repurpose and like position myself as an authority in the space, which I think I've done a decent job at over the years. But like that type of, I'm not the biggest. It's not my comfort zone to be in front of people speaking in that nature unless I'm really comfortable with the people. So I like that it pushed me a little bit outside of that.
That's good.
Comfort zone. They say that's good.
It is. It absolutely is. And in another way, that's you, like I said, getting creative. You had an issue and you're like, okay, this is the issue I'm trying to solve. How can I now solve this problem? So I would say you're strategically creative. I think that's a good way to say it, because
I can accept that.
Yeah, because it's very, both are equally important. I know before I got into being more strategic, I was a creative. I was like, I have this grand idea. How am I going to do it? No idea. But this is it. I just know this is it.
To me.
Right?
Fleshed it out.
But thankfully, over the years, I have learned how important it is to be strategic. I've learned that there has to be a method to the madness. Like it
At
has
some-
to make sense.
At some point.
At
yeah.
some point, like it has to make sense. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that, like I said, there's a lot that you're offering, and I think that's phenomenal. So you have the app, and are you doing the fit? Are you doing Fit Fest?
We aren't doing Fit Fest this year. We
Okay.
decided to skip this year just because we had a lot of other personal projects going on between
Right.
me and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really us that pulls that off. So the last 3 years, it was like us running around crazy, like trying to plan and execute that as well as, run our regular stuff. And this year we were like, we just got a lot on our plates to honestly not, well, it was a lot on our plates to be able to give that the attention that we knew it needed, which was going to be more than the previous years to do at the level we wanted to. So hopefully by next year we should be bringing it back. But it's usually in the summer, August.
And that's also a very important thing to know too. Like in business, you have to know your capacity. You have to know when your plate is full and you're like, I can't take on anymore. Because if you are compromising the quality of something, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to start off. I'm like, okay, Darian, if you're doing this, does this compromise the quality of what you have going on? If the answer is yes, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I know we're still young, but I'm glad that it's something that we can recognize because it leads to burnout, it leads to regret, it leads to just those feelings of I shouldn't have done this.
I had actual health issues last year because of trying to juggle that event. Yeah, so I was like, it's not worth. It was a beautiful event. It was fun. Everybody enjoyed it. It came off well, but I was like, at what cost? Like, it took me a while to get back to like a healthy place after that, just because I stressed for like that full week. Like at least 2 weeks I was stressed, and my body was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Not getting enough sleep, running around too much. It was just a lot last year, and we said we knew we needed to take a step back and just kind of reevaluate what we needed to do properly, like give ourselves a full year to actually reset and figure out how to build an actual team around it that helps us the full year versus like those couple days. So yeah, it's just kind of, sitting there waiting for us to pick it back up.
And that's perfectly fine because when the time is right,
it'll be back. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we invested a lot into it so far, so I know it's coming back. It's just a matter of when and what that looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, but hopefully next year.
Sounds good. So is there anything else that you would want to add, whether it's about you, your thoughts about creativity, or any final thoughts?
I just want to congratulate you.
Ooh.
Weren't expecting that.
I was like, ooh,
I want to congratulate you on this initiative. I mean, I know you consider yourself a creative. And no matter what level or spot you're in as a creative, like it's never easy putting yourself out there, right? And then now you're also reaching out to people and say, yes, I'm putting myself out there and I want you to come on camera and put yourself out there with me. So I know that could be intimidating. So I want to congratulate you on the initiative. I hope that whoever is consuming the content and watching the episodes gets value from it. And I think that's the beauty of like the work that you're about to cry.
Recognize it, baby.
That's the beauty of this type of stuff. Like you never know who it's gonna help, whether they express it or not. But like hopefully it inspires someone who's been sitting on ideas or has been scared to actually take that jump.
Yeah, girl. Listen, you need to cut this because I's a baby. I will cry. I promise I will cry. But that means a lot. Thank you so much. Because when I started this, I was talking to someone about this beforehand. I was in a kind of rough place. When I first started, I was like really down, really low. And I was like, okay, I need something to do. I need something to kind of just like be a good creative outlet for me. And after like the first recording, I felt so full. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Because like I said, this is my passion project with a $0 budget. But it has just for now. But it has fulfilled me in so many ways. And even like after having the conversations with my different guests, it's been so good. Like even afterwards, they would be like, oh, Darian, I had a good time. Or, thank you for allowing me to share, etc. And I'm like, okay, good. Because you never know where it could go, who it could help. So thank you for that. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see you continue to just fly and take off. I'm excited about the app. I'm excited about everything else that you are going to be doing, all of your brain children and, gym skirt and whatever else comes from what you have going on. So thank you for just being an inspiration and for really showing people like, hey, if you work hard enough, you can do it. Like, hard work pays off, consistency pays off. Not to say that you're going to get it right every time, but just don't give up. Like, don't quit.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Once you keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And something which you said, when you said you were feeling down, you decided to start filming. Like, movement creates momentum. And so that's something I have to remind myself. I get in those spells too where I'm like, oh, like, I don't know, like, I get stuck and I'm like, oh, do I really want to do the things that I have written down as ideas?
Yeah.
And then once I actually start moving, I get in that momentum and I'm like, all right, like, this is good. It's a good thing. So yeah, like, next time you get in those, you've done it already. You've gotten yourself out of that place and you've seen how beneficial it can be. So
yeah, and I think that's such a good way to end this as a word. Like, the movement makes momentum. That's a word, because for you, your movement was a physical movement where you started to, get into the physical space, fitness, etc. And for me, it was more of like a creative movement. Yeah. And I think that's so phenomenal. So to anybody who may be dealing with a hard time right now, just start moving, no matter what that movement looks like. Don't stay in that dark place. Eventually it'll get better. The more you move.
If you sit in it, it'll stay or it'll get worse. If you move,
yeah, baby steps, one step at a time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Darius.
Great.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Alrighty, so y'all take care. Bye.